The Quiz Kids, presented by the makers of Alka-Seltzer. We're on the air with the School Kids Questionnaire. Ladies and gentlemen, before we open the classroom door for the Quiz Kids, I'd just like to remind you that Alka-Seltzer offers quick, pleasant relief for acid indigestion and upset stomach, and is also good for muscular fatigue. May I suggest the next time you suffer from one of these unpleasant ailments, that you ask your druggist for Alka-Seltzer. And now for another exciting half hour with 5 swell youngsters, the Quiz Kids. The questions we are about to ask were sent in by you listeners and selected for the program by Sidney L. James of the editorial staff of Time and Life magazines. We will award a fine Zenith portable radio with patented detachable built-in wave magnet for each question used. And now here's the chief quizzer himself, Joe Kelly.
Thank you, Marvin Miller, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we proceed, I want to introduce our special guest observer for this evening, E. Hugh Matheson, head of the Modern Languages Department of famous Lake Forest Academy. Mr. Matheson. Well, kids, win or lose tonight, you each get a $100 denomination United States savings bond to apply on your future education. And the 3 with the highest scores will be invited back for next week's program. Of course, we said that last week, and 4 of you promptly made yourselves eligible to come back tonight by turning in 2 sets of tie scores. So, our 4 winners from last week, Geraldine.
I'm Geraldine Helberg. I'm 14 years old, and I go to the Evanston Township High School.
And Jackie.
I'm Jack Lucal. I'm 13 years old, and I go to Oak Park High School.
Who tied for first, incidentally, friends. And Cynthia.
I'm Cynthia Klein. I'm 14 years old, and I go to Francis Parker School.
And Jack.
I'm Jack Beckman, 13. I attend St. Philip's High School.
Who tied for second, incidentally. Now, the difference between the tie scores for first and the tie scores for second was only 10 points. So, with these 4 back again, we should have a battle royal tonight. And just to make it even tougher, we have a very capable newcomer, Paul.
I'm Paul Kirk. I'm 13, and I go to Leo High School.
All right, open the throttle on those bright young brains, because here's the first question. Carrie M. Kish of Chicago, Illinois, who writes poetry when she isn't teaching school, wants you quiz kids to write a 4-line poem using Tim-Buc-Tu as the last word in one line, and words that rhyme with Tim-Buc-Tu as the last word in the other 3 lines. The best poem will be graded on the basis of a 4-part question. Now, do you want me to read that over again, or is that clear to you, boys and girls? Is it clear?
Yes, Mr. Kelly.
All right, fine. Now raise your hands when you have finished your poems. In the meantime, let's get along to the next question. Miss Belle Iverson of Ames, Iowa, sends this one in. She wants you to tell us how the following fairy tale characters met their deaths. Now listen carefully. The wolf in Little Red Riding Hood, Jack Beckman.
A woodcutter chopped his head off.
That's right. Incidentally, could you tell me who the woodcutter was, Jack?
Red Riding Hood's father?
That's right. All right, here's the next one. Cock Robin in Who Killed Cock Robin? Paul?
He was shot by Sperling.
Was shot
sparrow.
by what?
He was shot by a sparrow with his little bow and arrow.
Well, it's poetry, isn't it? That's right, though. Now, the third one here, Humphrey and Rosie in Babes in the Woods. How did they meet their deaths? Humphrey and Rosie in Babes in the Woods. Jackie?
Was it by a wolf?
No. Cynthia?
Did they freeze to death?
Yes. And what else prompted their death? Jack Beckman.
Did they die of hunger?
That's right, yes. Cold and hunger. So that takes care of that question. Now then, Hestane Weaver of Oak Park Illinois wants you to name the present Speaker of the House of Representatives, and listen carefully because this is tricky. Who will be the next presiding officer of the Senate? Jack Beckman.
Isn't it Representative Martin?
No?
Well, the next one will be the vice president, the next vice president.
That's right. Can you tell me who the present Speaker is now? Jackie?
Well, Speaker Bankhead, do they want that answer, or was the question
No.
sent in since he died?
This has been received since he passed away.
Well, isn't that Senator or Representative Samuel Rayburn from Texas?
That's right. That's correct. I was a little bit dubious about that, but the kids got the question all right. Now then, Mrs. Gilda Conweiser of Newark, New Jersey, who is a musician herself, wants you kids to identify the Soldiers' Chorus, the Pilgrims' Chorus, and the Bridal Chorus. All right, Cynthia?
Well, the soldiers' chorus is in the opera Tannhäuser
By whom?
by Wagner.
That's correct, all right. Oh, no, wait just a moment. Correction. The Soldiers' Chorus, no, that was an incorrect answer you gave me, Cynthia. Would you like to try that again?
I know the song.
Well, wait a minute. Did you say the Pilgrims' Chorus or the Soldiers' Chorus?
Well, now I remember the Pilgrim's chorus is in Tannhäuser. Or is...
That's correct. All right, the Soldiers' Chorus, Jackie?
The Soldiers' Chorus is from Faust by Gounod, I believe.
That's correct. Let's see. The next one is the Bridal Chorus. Geraldine?
The bridal chorus is from Lohengrin by Wagner, and it goes, da 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 da. And do you want to know the other two choruses? How it goes?
Well, I'll tell you, Geraldine, you sort of stole a march on me here, Steve, but go ahead, we'll let it go.
Well, the soldier's chorus goes, da 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 da. I know it goes.
No, wait a minute. Let's give Cynthia a chance.
It goes, glory and love to the men of war.
That's it. That's it. All right, how about the Pilgrim's Chorus?
It goes, da 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 da.
That's it. That's fine. Well, Jack Beckman has his hand up. What is it, Jack?
Mr. Kelly, I finished my poem.
Oh, you have, huh? Well, swell. I'll tell you what you do now. You just hang on to it, and we'll wait until the rest of the quiz kids finish their poems, see? And then we'll have them in order. In the meantime, back to the questions. Nellie Smith of Chicago, Illinois, wants you to tell us in what 3 books or plays do the plots depend very largely on the following articles of wearing apparel?
A slipper, a coat, and a handkerchief. Jackie.
The slipper is Cinderella.
The slipper is Cinderella. Well, now, can you be a little more explicit?
The slipper is from the story Cinderella.
That's right. All right. And we have the other 2 items, a coat and a handkerchief. A coat and a handkerchief. Jack Beckman.
Is that from, the nursery rhyme? The black sheep has some wool, and he won't give it to one fellow, and he won't give it to another, so he gives it to his master to make himself a coat?
No, no, that isn't the answer that we want, Jack. How about the rest of you kids? Paul?
Jacob's coat of many colors.
Whose?
Jacob's.
No, now just a moment. Would you like to try that again, Paul, before we call on somebody else?
No, I can't think of that name right now.
All right, Jackie.
That was Joseph's coat of many colors.
That's right, sir. And how about the handkerchief? The handkerchief played a very important part in a certain, I'm not going to tell you. That is, unless I am obliged to. The handkerchief. From Shakespeare's Othello. When Othello saw Cassio handling Desdemona's hanky, which he had found innocently, Othello made up his mind that Desdemona had been unfaithful and decided to kill her. So that's that. Now, Mr. A. Frederick Drahim of Detroit, Michigan, is capitalizing on his knowledge of geography to get his portable radio set. He wants you to name the 3 state capitals that lie on the banks of the Missouri River. 2 out of 3. 3 state capitals. Geraldine?
The capital of Missouri.
The 3 state capitals that lie on the banks of the Missouri River. I can't give you the states, you know. Paul?
Would it be Jackson City, Missouri?
That's one of them. Well, will you tell me that again? I didn't...
Jackson City.
Oh, I misunderstood you. No, that's incorrect. I'm sorry. Would you like to try it again, Paul?
Jefferson City?
Jefferson City. All right, let's continue. Jackie?
Does Bismarck, North Dakota, is that on the Missouri River?
That's right. Of course, I'm asking the questions, and, you know. And, of course, you kids forget that sometimes. Well, that's all right, though. Now we got 2 out of 3, and there's another one. I can tell you this one, Pierre, South Dakota. Well, that's a good beginning, kids, and now then you can relax a moment because it's recess time.
While our youngsters are enjoying their relaxation, I'd like to ask you this question. How well do you relax? I mean, at the end of a long, hard day, how easy can you just sit back and relax? If you have been doing more physical work than you used to and your muscles are sore and aching, it's sometimes even hard to rest. Or your restlessness may be caused by an annoying headache or an upset stomach. Well, right then is the time for Alka-Seltzer. Believe me, that's where Alka-Seltzer shines. Yes, Alka-Seltzer is just the thing for the dull, aching feeling of muscular fatigue and for headaches, acid indigestion, upset stomach, and heartburn. Let Alka-Seltzer help you in its quick, pleasant way to relax and enjoy a pleasant evening at home or with your friends. Drink a glass of sparkling, refreshing Alka-Seltzer right now if you need it. If your supply is running low, see your druggist right away. Remember, Alka-Seltzer is accepted and commended by the Consumer Service Bureau of Parents Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Quiz Kids, presented by the makers of Alka-Seltzer. May I remind you that questions used are sent in by you listeners, and that none of the children ever sees or hears any of the questions before the program. The sender of each question used receives a new Zenith portable radio with patented detachable built-in wave magnet, which enables you to get perfect reception under conditions ordinarily impossible. The set has its own self-contained battery or will operate on your direct or alternating electric light current. If you wish to try for one of these fine radios, send your original questions to the Quiz Kids, National Broadcasting Company, Chicago. Or if you're too busy to write, just step to the telephone and dictate your message to Postal Telegraph, which now has available special Quiz Kids telegraph blanks at low night telegram rates. We reserve the right to reword questions, and if like questions are submitted, the first received will be used. All questions become the property of Quiz Kids.
Well, kids, we're ready for the second period. So far, you've missed only one question, and your individual scores at the halfway mark are Geraldine 30 points, Cynthia 25 points, Paul 20 points, Jack Beckman 25 points, and Jackie Lukel 50 points. So let's get along now with the rest of the questions, as many as we can answer. On the next question, you take your cue from Paul Coase of Chicago, Illinois. He wants you to substitute a word beginning with the letter Q for each of the following: fruit, traitor, coin, and bird. 3 out of 4 on this one. Jackie?
Quince, is that a fruit?
That's right. Cynthia?
The quarter is the coin.
That's good. Paul?
Would the bird be a quail?
It certainly would. And I guess that takes care of 3 out of 4. The fruit, the coin, and the bird. That's fine. Because you were so apt on the date question last week, Jessie MacArthur of Wilton Junction, Iowa, wants you to tell her with what historical events you associate the following dates. 1620. Cynthia?
Well, that's when the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock.
That's good. 1781. 1781. Jackie?
Some people say that that's when the Constitution was signed. Some other people say that it was signed in 1783.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do. We let them argue about that, see? Some people. And 1781, we must have a correct answer to this one. Jack Beckman.
The end of the Revolutionary War?
That's right. Correct. 1849. 1849. Jack Beckman.
The end of the Mexican War?
That's right. That certainly is. Mrs. S.J. Davies of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, found the following strange assortment of characters all in one book. She wants you to name the book and the author. Now, I want you to withhold your hands until I give you the question completely. A caterpillar who smokes, a rabbit who carries a fan and wears gloves, a lobster who dances. Cynthia?
Alice in Wonderland.
That's right. Lillian Mayer of Milwaukee, Wisconsin wants you to identify a widow's peak, a widow's weeds, and a widow's mite. 2 out of 3. Geraldine?
A widow's peak is some people's hair comes to a little point in the middle of their forehead.
Well, don't look at me now. My goodness sake.
And a widow's weeds are the clothes that she wears when she's in mourning.
That's correct.
What was the other one?
Widow's mite.
I don't know that.
Cynthia?
I don't
Jackie?
either.
Paul?
No.
Jack?
No.
Well, a widow's mite is a small contribution of money from a widow. It's spelled M-I-T-E, widow's mite. E.B. Leadholt, Jr. of Glendale, California, says that a friend of his came back last year from a tour abroad with a pound, a franc, a peseta, a lira, a Reichsmark, and a krona in his pocket. Now, wait a minute now, kids. Can you name at least 5 countries he visited? Cynthia?
Well, he went to England and Germany.
Well, why would you say England?
Well, a pound.
Oh, I see. All right.
And the mark is used in Germany.
That's correct. Would you like to continue?
What were the others?
Well, let's see. The franc, peseta, lira, and krona. All right?
Well, the franc is in France.
That's good. And what else? Geraldine?
A peseta's from Spain, isn't it?
That's correct. Jackie?
Isn't a lira or what was that again?
Lira?
That's Italy.
That's correct.
And Corona? Hungary?
Beg pardon?
Hungary? Corona?
No. Krona. K-R-O-N-A. Jack Beckman.
Norway?
That's right. How are you coming along with your poems now, kids? Geraldine, I see you're busy with your pencil and paper. All right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll start off with them. We'll start with Jack Beckman.
A man once visited Tim-Buc-Tu. Don't you wish you were there, too? Although there isn't much to do, you could say you were there, couldn't you?
Hooray for Jack. Paul?
It's mighty hot in Tim-Buc-Tu. There's humid days and insects, too. I've never been there nor wish to do, but adventure there may well lure you.
All right, swell. Jackie?
I've never been to Tim-Buc-Tu. I hear it's really like a zoo. It's where they get the funny new, the lions and the tiger, too.
Fine, Jackie. All right, Cynthia.
I haven't gone to Tim-Buc-Tu, nor have I been to Waterloo. But maybe before my life is through, I'll go to both. Shoo!
Well, Cynthia, how about you, Geraldine?
I've never been to Timbuktu, but as far are the seas of sapphire blue, which many a ship with a pirate crew has sailed with a cargo of gold and silver, too.
Fine. A lot of folks haven't been to Timbuktu. I think we'll have to get some special excursion rates there. All right, let's get along now. Margaret Lenderink of Belding, Michigan, wants you to imagine that you are operating an employment agency. Now, what sort of a job might the following operatic characters ask you to find for them? Listen carefully. Figaro. Geraldine?
He was a barber
That's right. Where was he a barber?
in Seville.
Very good. All right. The next one, Coco. Jackie?
He was the Lord High, something in the Mikado.
Well, now you just put your thinking cap over on
Oh,
the other side.
the Lord High Executioner.
That's right, Jackie. All right, and Patience. Patience. And then we have the last item here, Lieutenant Pinkerton. Geraldine?
Well, he was the admiral of ships in Madame Butterfly. Lieutenant.
Well, he wasn't an admiral.
I mean,
he
was a
couldn't have been
lieutenant.
one. Huh?
He was on a U.S. Destroyer.
All right, swell. Well, Patience, we are getting a little impatient here, maybe, with time going along. Patience?
I'd get her a job singing.
Oh, you would, Jack. Well, Patience was in the opera by the same name, Patience, by Gilbert and Sullivan. She was a very beautiful but dumb milkmaid. So she'd be looking for Bossy, I guess. Now, the following lines are taken from a well-known English poem, and they are spoken in a well-known American story. Miss Dorothy Crust of Chicago, Illinois, wants you to identify the poem, identify the novel, and tell by whom each was written. Now, do you recognize these lines? Breathes there a man with soul so dead, who never to himself hath said, this is my own, my native land.
Joe, I hate to interrupt, but as long as we haven't answered any portion of this question, suppose we save it, eh? Because our time is nearly up.
All right, Marvin, go right ahead.
Well, that was the last question, and I know we're very proud of the way all of you came through tonight. We'll have the scores as soon as the judges finish checking them. Have you noticed how prevalent colds have been lately? Changeable weather, rain, muggy days, chilly nights. Now is the time to beware of colds. If you're troubled with one now, if your throat feels scratchy and raw, take care of it. Get more rest than usual. Stay out of crowded, poorly ventilated rooms. Avoid overexertion. Eat light, easily digested food. Then, for that miserable, achy feeling, the headache and sore throat, do this. Dissolve 2 Alka-Seltzer tablets in a glass of warm water and drink it. Then continue to take Alka-Seltzer according to the directions in each package. It's the quick, pleasant way to relief from the misery of colds. See how much better it can make you feel. When you have a sore throat with your cold, try Alka-Seltzer as a gargle. Dissolve 2 tablets in a quarter glass of warm water and gargle freely. Take care of that cold. Take Alka-Seltzer. Get Alka-Seltzer from your druggist and start taking it right away.
before we read the scores, we should be pleased to hear from our special guest observer this evening, E. Hugh Matheson, head of the Modern Languages Department of Lake Forest Academy. Mr. Matheson.
This evening, I've had the privilege of meeting these amazing children personally, chatting and generally visiting with them. One is struck at once by their delightful spontaneity, eagerness, and gaiety. Moreover, it is quite obvious that the program is entirely unrehearsed. These youngsters look upon the whole thing as an exciting game, and all the fun will be taken from the game with the questions known and answers prepared. Another happy surprise is the personality of the group. They are not myopic, narrow-chested, precocious little bookworms. Far from it. These are healthy, wholesome, natural American kids, keen, alert, with a multiplicity of interests, and possessing that which the old Greeks called the divine curiosity. As I sat there entranced, I hope that among you listeners are all those old sourpusses who constantly belittle the oncoming generation and bewail the destiny that awaits this country when the children of today are the men and women of America. These pessimists have as their slogan, "Now when I was a kid," implying that in those golden days children were far superior to the trash of today. Now, I was never famous for my modesty, yet I am free to confess that when I was a kid I didn't know half as much as these children, nor have anything like as much charm. Another group whose ears should be glued to this program every Wednesday night is composed of the long-faced gentry whose cry is, "What are schools coming to?" All they do is to amuse the children. Now, when I was at school, we'd really learn something. The weekly performance of the Quiz Kids is, to me at least, sufficient evidence that there's nothing wrong with the younger generation, nor with the American educational system, which has helped to produce the 5 young people who have entertained and instructed us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matheson. And now for the final report cards. We asked 12 questions tonight, which means that 12 of you listeners will receive new Zenith portable radios with patented detachable built-in wave magnets within a day or two. The Quiz Kids missed only one question. The individual scores placed Geraldine first, Cynthia second, and Jackie Lucal third. I'll see you 3 back next week. And Jack Beckman and Paul Kirk, you boys did very well tonight. I'm really proud of you. And maybe you should be glad you lost, for next week, the 3 who won tonight will have to face 2 formidable Quiz Kids veterans brought back to our schoolroom by popular request, Gerard Darrow, 8 years old of Chicago, and Van Dyke Tears, 13 of Dolton, Illinois. And now, in behalf of the makers of Alka-Seltzer, I present each of you with a $100 denomination United States savings bond to help you in continuing your education. Friends, this is Joe Kelly dismissing the Quiz Kids class until next Wednesday at this same time. Good night, kids.
Good night, Mr. Kelly.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer present 3 programs each week, all of them on NBC networks. On Friday night, Alec Templeton Time. On Saturday night, the famous Alka-Seltzer National Barn Dance. And next Wednesday night, listen again to the Quiz Kids. For interesting variety entertainment, listen to the Alka-Seltzer shows. Marvin Miller speaking.
The National Broadcasting Company.